January can be a particularly difficult month for many people. I've been working with women for well over 30 years now, and it has been my experience that particularly January is a tough month for many. Factors such as the weather, the lack of daylight for many of us, um, that time after Christmas, after all that, momentum and planning and the sparkle of Christmas is over. Sometimes there's like financial issues. Maybe we spent a lot at Christmas time. We're waiting for the next payday. Um, there's a lot of factors that influence how we feel. And of course, right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's so much going on in the world. The pandemic is restricting us. We're limited in what we can do. Many of us are in a strict lockdown. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen this year and how things are going to unfold, how long things will go on for. And I know for many that's exacerbating existing stress, anxiety, and fear. And indeed, there's actually a day, the third Monday in January, that's known as Blue Monday. Now, this term came about back in 2005. There was a professor in Cardiff that came up with the title. And actually, it's not really based on science or research. It was actually a marketing idea. And he took some of those factors that I've mentioned and created a formula and worked out that the third Monday in January was the most depressing day of the year. Now, as I say, there's no science to back this up, but anecdotally, I do think that there's some merit in this, that January is generally quite a tough month. And so I wanted to come up with a lot of ideas that you can use in order to beat Blue Monday and change the feelings that we have at this time of year. In fact, the professor that came up with this term, he received a lot of backlash on it. And he said that he didn't want to make it like a bad or a negative thing. He wanted to actually use it to inspire people to get motivated and create the life that they desire. And I think that, of course, it's important to acknowledge the stresses and challenges that we're all facing right now. And of course, it's absolutely okay not to be okay. It's all right to have really hard moments. Of course, it's okay to feel anxiety and worry about the future. But what's important is that we don't get stuck on that or dwell on that or ignore all the other possibilities that are around. And I always talk about the research and that there is so much of our happiness that is within our control. And right now, so much of life feels out with our control. And so, right now, we must look at what we can control. And there still is so much that we can have a choice over, that we can be proactive about, and that we can use to navigate through this year. But of course, that we can use to navigate through these harder months like January. Now, we had the chat in the Happiness Club on Monday, and my wonderful members there, they came up with lots of fantastic ideas about how to feel happier, how to lower our stress levels, and how to just be proactive in how we feel. It's important to understand that all the things that we've talked about means that it's okay. And so just even knowing it's okay to feel this way really helps us. Often when we feel like, oh, I don't know why I feel stressed, that's when we begin to like stress over why we feel stressed. So just understanding that there's really good reason why you feel that way is a great start. But me, along with the wonderful members of my Happiness Club, we've come up with 25 easy but effective tips that you can start doing right now. They're going to help you beat the January blues. So, of course, I had to write them down. There were so many of them. But let me share them with you. And I hope there's some in here that sparks you to think, oh, yeah, I should do that, or go back to that, or try that, or just reminds you of the things that you can do. All of these are simple and small and seem quite obvious. But believe me, there's research in all of these different aspects, and they do help us. Every little bit helps. Everything we do working towards reducing our stress and feeling happier is worth the time. And all of these things take very little time to be effective. So, what kind of things did we come up with? Well, of course, first and foremost, understanding how you feel and why you feel that way is important. But then how you talk to yourself is important. Talk to yourself with kindness, with compassion, and with understanding. The same way you talk to all your friends, all that support you're giving to family and friends right now. Take those words, take that tone, take that understanding, and show that to yourself. Talk to yourself the way you talk to family and friends. So often we are so hard on ourselves, so critical, so judgmental. Be kind to yourself, show yourself some compassion. If you're struggling with that, I have a wonderful course, the 21-day self-compassion course. 5 minutes a day, a 5-minute meditation that is proven to significantly reduce your negative thinking and self-talk and increase the positive self-talk. So if you're struggling with this, reach out to me. The course runs continually throughout the year. I'd love to get you in there and show you this highly effective tool. But think about how you can talk to yourself with much more kindness. So other things that people shared with us that are fantastic. People talked about like just acknowledging that often in the winter we have less energy. So lower your expectations, be more realistic, that maybe you just have to like slow down a little bit and not do so much. I love this term wintering. I'm reading a book about that just now, how it's okay to slow down. And in fact, you'll see a lot just now in January about, hey, set your goals, do this, get on here, get started on something, plan for the year. And of course, as a coach, I want us to have clarity and direction for the year. But actually, all the stuff I do, it really kind of starts around February, March, even April. You know, right now I'm still taking my time, reflecting, and, you know, just warming up to the new year. So if you're not powering through things already, it's okay. Maybe you just need to slow down and just conserve energy a bit more in the winter. I think it's important to make time for friendship and friends and family. Many of us are restricted right now, so it might not be safe for you to be able to go and meet someone in person. It doesn't stop us making that effort to have contact. You may even have a bit of Zoom fatigue and you're on the laptop a lot right now, but make time for those important people, those connections. We as human beings are designed to have contact. We need relationships, and relationships make us happy. So it doesn't have to be hours and hours. It can just be quick check-ins, or, you know, I often say like, hey, let's get a coffee together, or let's have a glass of wine together. Even at Christmas, we had a Zoom movie evening together. Be creative, but just plan that time in. Don't see it as an obstacle. Make sure you're getting that connection with people. It's vital. It's important to nurture yourself and nourish yourself. So it's very easy to eat with more comfort food or drink more tea and coffee or maybe have more alcohol. And of course, everything in moderation is fine. But maybe use this time to nurture our bodies and pour good food into us so that we are getting stronger and healthier. And of course, sleep is so important, isn't it? So having good, decent sleep, prioritizing our sleep and getting as much rest as possible will definitely help us. Where it's safe to do so and where you're allowed to right now, get out into nature if you can. Even just get a little bit of walk, a bit of fresh air, even some vitamin D if it's out there. If it's safe for you to do that, please get out there into nature. If it's not, bring some nature indoors. That's what I've done behind me, as you can see. I've brought lots of plants indoors and I'm having a lot of nature around me, and it really helps. Or just look at the nature, listen. You know, things are quieter out there. You can hear the birds more. We have squirrels. We just have a balcony, but the squirrels come, we watch them, we feed them. There's a lot out there. So try and get connection to nature as much as you can. If you can, get some exercise. You don't have to be outside to exercise, but any kind of exercise, even a little bit every day, releases endorphins and makes us feel really good. You'll notice it gives you more physical energy, and it also lifts your mood. So mentally, you'll feel more positive. And I know that's something that I'm working really hard on right now. It's something that I don't love doing, but I am working every day to have a bit of exercise, and I really notice the effect that has on my mood. As an aromatherapist, I'm really passionate about essential oils. It's something that's so easy and so passive to do, but burning essential oils really helps. Or just having them next to you. I've got one right here, right now, just open, and I can smell it. Beautiful neroli oil. But if you've got essential oils or a lovely candle, burn those. Those oils can uplift your mood. They definitely affect you. There's a whole science behind why essential oils work for you, and the whole olfactory system in the nose. So pick oils that you love, pick oils that relax you if you're feeling stressed, or uplift your spirits if you're feeling a bit low and a bit down. So the citrus oils are really good for that. Bergamot is really nice for that. Find yourself a lovely orange, a lemon, a grapefruit, a lime. Those ones are all really uplifting and they're lovely. If you feel you need to balance and feel calmer, then of course your everyday lavender, which is just the all-round perfect one, is fantastic for that. But pick ones that you like as well. If there's smells that remind you of something, or you just really like the smell of, burn that. Really create that lovely atmosphere. Something so simple to do, but highly, highly effective. Another tip we had was to wear bright clothes. It's something that really works. My grandmother always refused to wear black. She would never, she used to knit everything. So she would never knit me anything black. And she always refused to wear black, even at her funeral. She always said, you must wear bright clothes. So wear bright clothes. They against your face, they make you look brighter, happier, and it does lift our spirits. Color is so important. So something simple like that, wearing bright clothes, can help. Practicing self-care. So use this time to do a little bit of pampering for yourself. Practice that self-care. Maybe it's spending a little bit more time on a facial routine, or having an extra long bath, or just whatever you like to do that pampers you. Um, just find those things and make time for that in the day, and enjoy that. Spend some time just taking care and pampering yourself. Something that I'm loving just now is finding inspirational podcasts. I'm really tuning into Rich Roll at the moment. I find his stuff fantastic. There's so many podcasts out there. Find something that inspires you, motivates you, lifts your spirits, is really positive, or just fascinating and interesting. There's a wealth of podcasts out there. So spend some time researching that and have them on. You can often do that while you're doing maybe household chores, for instance, or just take that time to be mindful and present and listen to something of interest. On the same token, I really love self-development books or non-fiction books, and I have a commitment to reading one per month. So find yourself something that would inspire you, something you've always wanted to learn, something that really develops you as a person, that's working on you and your intrinsic goals, in your growth mindset. Is there a book that you'd like to read? Spend some time reading that. But also conversely, reading books for me is such an escapism. So spend time reading. If you enjoy reading, find books to escape into from everyday life and be in a different world. I just couldn't be without several books at a time. So perhaps reading is something that could really lift your mood this month. I do think this is something that comes up every single week in the Happiness Club, and that is reducing your social media and perhaps the news intake as well. As I record this, there's so much going on with the pandemic, with lots going on around the elections in America and what's happened at Capitol Hill last week. There's just stuff going on around the world. And I think at this time of year, when you're maybe feeling a little lower in mood, reading the news can actually have quite a profound effect on how we feel. So perhaps limiting your news feed and reducing your social media could be very beneficial. And in fact, looking at something else, choosing things that are funny. I'm sure there's TV series that just make you laugh so much. Find those TV series or watch a comedian. Watch stuff that makes you feel happy, that makes you laugh out loud, that brings you joy. Watch those things that, are happier, and just be aware of what you're consuming. Okay. We've already talked about adopting positive body language. You can check out one of my other videos here on YouTube, all about adopting positive body language and how our body language influences our mood. So check that out, check that video out. simple things that we can do. But if we are just like, oh, it's January, we're going to feel that way. But if we're more open and upright and brighter, I'm not saying this in a sort of toxic positivity way, like smile and everything will be okay. I'm not saying that. Like I said, it's okay not to be okay. But there are things that we can do that just help us influence how we feel. So smiling, open body language, paying attention to that, not being all tensed up and just relaxing. These can all influence how we feel. As I say, check out the other video and I'll give you lots more tips on that. I've also talked a lot about gratitude in the past. Again, there's another video here that you can watch all about the benefits of practicing gratitude. Taking time to focus on things that we are thankful for, the things that are positive in our lives, the things that are going well, is very, very important, and not just focusing on the things that we can't do or aren't going well and what's restricting us right now. Gratitude takes just 2 or 3 minutes in a day, yet is so researched to be highly powerful in training our brain into being much more positive. So if you haven't already started a gratitude practice, please think about doing that. A couple of minutes a day will really set you up for a very different mental health experience. We've talked a lot about kindness. I'm really passionate about kindness, and we've also got a video on that one too. Check that one out. But delivering an act of kindness, doing something that's really small, makes us feel good. And the person receiving that kindness also feels good. Even hearing about acts of kindness feels good. That way when you look at your, a YouTube video or Facebook feed and people post these lovely acts of kindness, it makes you feel great, doesn't it? And hearing about them makes us feel good. And kindness has a ripple effect. I do an act of kindness for you, you're more inclined to do an act of kindness for someone else, and so forth and so forth. And of course, being kind releases the hormone oxytocin, the feel-good chemical. It makes us feel really good, and it combats cortisol, the negative stress hormone in our bodies. So think about small acts of kindness that you can do every day to reduce your stress levels. I would also use this time to reflect. If you're slowing down and you're still in that sort of winter mode, this can be a time for reflection. We did a wonderful gratitude practice at the end of last year in the Happiness Club, where we reflected back on the last year. It's a time to reflect on things and to just contemplate what your goals for this year might be. So take this time to just think about what would be important to you, what you would like to change, what you would like to see happen this year. Even though there's a lot of things out with your control right now, there's so much about your happiness that is within control. And so this is, I'm all about getting intentional and deciding and choosing the course of your life. So use this time to think about what you'd like to work on. If you're not clear on that, reach out to me. I'll help you get that clarity. If you do know what you want, but you don't know how to get it, again, reach out. I'll help you reach those goals. We also have the Intentional Happiness Circle. It opens every quarter in the year. And that's where I take you step by step through this process to create the life that you want, to be intentionally happy. So reach out to me if you'd love to find out more information about that. I would love to welcome you into the course. It's life-changing, and it can really take you step by step on that journey. More things that people shared in the Happiness Club. People talked about having a routine. So that's something that can definitely disappear a bit during lockdown, can't it? It's quite hard to keep that routine going. And also in the darker months, it can also be like that. It's so important to have some kind of routine. So think about what you can do to create some kind of routine in your day. It might be getting up at the same time every day, or going to bed at the same time, or working a certain amount of hours, or taking breaks. But think about a routine that you can create. People talked about dancing being such a wonderful way to combat depression and stress. It doesn't matter if you can dance or not, but just get in there, put on some music. And that was another one. Music is another one. Put on music that lifts your spirits, makes you feel good. Dance around your living room, or do some kind of formal dance. People were doing belly dancing and salsa and all different sorts of types of dancing. But these things really make us feel great. People talked about like releasing that inner child. Like if the snow is coming, like for me, I don't like the snow, but hey, going out there and just having fun is a great way. Just go out and embrace it and just let that inner child be released. I think so often we really don't do enough things for fun, do we? So what is fun for you to do? I have a 5-year-old, so like we do lots of like playing games, playing board games, coloring in, dancing around. I have a great excuse to like release my inner child, but you don't have to have your own child in order to do that. Just have some fun. Um, I teach a lot about meditation and breath work. Again, this came up over and over with people that um, being mindful, being present, but also focusing on the breath was very, very useful in reducing your stress and feeling good this month. Do you have a meditation practice? Are you trying to do that? If you'd like to try that, if you go into my website, julieleonardcoaching.com, and you go into the work with me, you will find a free meditation that you can download for yourself. It's a 2-minute meditation, a breathing meditation, but it really helps you reduce your stress, reduce that feeling of overwhelm, and make you feel calmer and happier. We'll post a link in here as well for you, but you can also find it over on my website. So try that if you want to get you started. It's a great way to get started. People also talked about like things that you could do within the home to feel happier. In the northern countries, they have hygge. They create this like warm and cozy ambience, even in the long dark winters. So people talked about like creating a nice cozy home environment. Maybe you want to have some lighting, some nice throws, making it warm and cozy. Maybe decorating a little bit, putting things out that you really like that bring you joy. But think about how you can make your home warm and cozy and welcoming, particularly if you are spending a lot of time at home at the moment. And people talked about lighting being really important, particularly if you suffer from SAD, if you're affected by the lack of light right now, which has a huge impact on our health. And I really suffer from that. I have a lot of bright lights on, as you can see while I'm working. I have a sunrise clock that helps me wake up naturally. And another tip from one of our members was to put the lights on in the house before it got dark, so that when it got darker outside, you didn't notice that dramatic change in the light and went, oh, it's so dark already, that it just naturally progressed and you didn't actually notice that it got dark earlier. And I thought that was a super tip. So thanks for remember for that one. That's a brilliant one. So make sure you've got good lighting in there as well, because it really helps lift our mood. Think about natural light bulbs that give a more natural daylight too. These help tremendously with how we feel. Some of the members talked about creating boundaries as well, setting boundaries so that you look after yourself, being able to say no if you don't want to do things, um, saying yes to the things that you want to say yes to, but just looking after yourself and creating boundaries so that you look after your health. Don't overstretch yourself, don't push yourself, don't take on too much. I'm hearing a lot of people who are working from home where their bosses are asking them to work longer and longer because you're just at home. And yeah, you're maybe not going anywhere or might not have other plans, but it doesn't mean you have to keep working. It's important to have boundaries that you cut off work and have your evenings, have your free time, have your family time. Think about what boundaries you need to create in your life right now in order to protect your health. Um, what other ways did we have? Um, Journaling is also another one that came up too. Spending some time journaling can really help process our emotions and our thoughts and help us understand what's going on in our minds. So much of our mental health is all about our thoughts. And I've just actually come off my first call of the year for the first week of our MBSR course, where I help women change their thinking by identifying the thoughts that trigger all the feelings and sensations in their body and what triggers those limiting beliefs that we have. It's a fantastic course. So if you're really finding that your thoughts are very negative and that you're really stuck with in those negative thoughts or ruminating or thinking about the what ifs and worrying about the future, then this course could be really great for you. So reach out if that's something of interest to you. I'd be really happy to tell you more about it. Again, that course runs 4 times over the year, so there's always a chance to join me. But journaling is a great tool in order to release our stress, to process our emotions, to identify our thoughts. So think about that. That could be another useful tool for you to do. Think about picking up a hobby as well. Is there something that you've always wanted to learn? Is there something you love doing? Is there something that you'd like to study? This is also a great opportunity right now in the winter where maybe you're not out as much, and maybe you're not out as much because of lockdown. But what could you study? There's lots of free courses, there's lots of things to learn. Maybe there's something that you've always wanted to do. There's maybe a hobby that you've not picked up for a while. How can you occupy your time with something of interest? And finally, of course, I have to say this, join the Happiness Club. I have a wonderful Facebook group. It's free. It's called the Happiness Club. Come join me over there. There's lots of motivation and inspiration. We run monthly challenges. And of course, there is the live online Happiness Club with me every Monday evening. I'm there every single week to support you. You get access to me. We talk about a topic related to our happiness every single week. There are women from all around the world that join. It's a wonderful, warm, and supportive group. And so come along and join me and meet people, form connection, ask me anything, and get lots of support. There's a space to talk about how you're feeling, time to share because we're all going through so much right now. But of course, we always leave with positive action and positive thought. So I hope you'll join me over in the Happiness Club. So there you go. I think that's probably even more than 25 tips that you can do right now. And these come from people who know that this is the stuff that really works for them. So I hope there's something in there that you can utilize to beat these January blues and to be preemptive of Blue Monday if you feel that this is a hard time of the year for you. And as always, if there's anything I can do to support you, I'm here. Reach out, send me a message, book in for a discovery chat. I'm here to help you on your journey to happiness. Take care till next time. Bye bye.